award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World. Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule, where it's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Access interactive digital and printable program guides, repeat times, and full episode descriptions. Watch program previews of best bets for the coming week. Search by title to find your favorite shows. You can even add programs to your calendar and get email reminders when they're about to start. It's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule. Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
I thought I knew most of what was worth knowing about the war, and suddenly I didn't.
Something was happening that was profound, that was irreversible.
What was it all about?
We just tried to believe that this was the right thing to do.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hospice of the Valley, medical, social, and spiritual care for patients nearing end of life, and support for their families. A not-for-profit community hospice, HOV.org.
I'm David Goldstein, owner of Biltmore Loan and Jewelry. We buy or loan on upscale assets. We have over 30 years of experience in determining values of automobiles, jewelry, art, collectibles, and antiques. For more information and appointments, biltmoreloan.com.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Hunters aim to protect their hearing with gun silencers, but critics say it's just a cover-up. We'll take you inside the debate in our nation's capital.
Plus, it's been 6 years since bald eagles were removed from the endangered species list. Tonight, even better news for the iconic birds here in Arizona.
And the expansion of the light rail will bring more transportation options for Valley commuters. But now a new group of business owners have concerns about construction.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Madison Connor.
And I'm Tyler Finger. Thank you for joining us. Involvement in politics in your community, especially with the younger generation, is topping the agenda tonight. Former President Barack Obama announced his foundation will host a summit next month aimed at promoting civic engagement among students and young adults. As Emily Richardson found out, Arizona State University students on the Tempe campus are already motivated to take action.
So I really fell in love with how the UN has portrayed politics and how it has facilitated what we want and how it has, basically you can see the results that you want to see change in the world through the work of the UN.
About a dozen students at Arizona State University's main campus spent their lunch hour sending letters to their congressional delegation. ASU's UN Association's president, Layla Jamal, says some of the group's concerns are DACA and the UN budget cuts.
So we're asking our members and the people that are coming in, are you interested in DACA and helping us change the Congress, since now it's up to the Congress, change the vote in Congress, and basically by targeting Republicans and people on the Republican side to help us say that we want our dreamers to stay.
Since the election, a poll done by the Institute of Politics at Harvard University found 25% of 18 to 29-year-olds say they're more motivated to get involved. That translates to about 14 million young people. And Obama wants to tap into that to find solutions to societal problems.
This leadership summit will be a place to gather and learn from one another, and then go back to your communities to lead others in the hard work of change. In the weeks and months ahead, we'll be kicking off more initiatives and opportunities for people like you to get involved with the Obama Foundation's mission. That mission is simple. We want to inspire and empower people to change the world.
47% of those polled by Harvard University's Institute on Politics believe that what's happening in Washington is relevant to their lives. That number is up 7% from 5 years ago. And those writers at the union agree. Roa El-Farana says she joined ASU's UN group because she was passionate about the UN's work.
about the UN and about refugee work. So I was like, that sounds really cool. That's what I'm really interested in. It really lies personally to me. So I would be more than happy to join.
The group is hoping their efforts at civic engagement have an impact across the country. In Tempe, Emily Richardson, Cronkite News.
Tomorrow, the Obama Foundation is expected to announce its plans for the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago.
Some Valley community leaders are making sure they support DACA recipients in the wake of President Trump's announcement that he's ending the deferred deportation program. Reporter Sydney Eisenberg has the details on today's announcement.
Two community members are coming together to help keep dreamers in the U.S. They pledged $10,000 for scholarships. Promise Arizona is thanking Roberto Reveles and Tommy Espinoza for their large donation. The combined $10,000 donation will be used to help DACA recipients reapply for DACA status. Reveles put off a long-planned trip to the Far East in order to help those he calls the future.
That decision can be deferred. What cannot be deferred and delayed is renewal of the DACA recipient permits.
I mean, that's the fact that I want to give students out there. There's people that care. There's people that are willing to help, but they need our help to put the word out there.
DACA recipients whose status ends before March 5th have until October 5th to reapply. In the Broadcast Center, Sydney Eisenberg, Cronkite News.
DACA has provided 2-year work permits and protection from deportation to thousands of Arizonans. Now members of one Phoenix organization are doing what they can to keep DACA alive. The Center for Neighborhood Leadership in downtown Phoenix is offering legal help and other resources to local DACA recipients. This group of community organizers and concerned citizens gathered Saturday morning to talk about their next steps. That included ASU student Daphne Cervantes, who was born in the United States but comes from an undocumented family.
I'm here to do this for my mom, you know, to give her peace, relief, for her to be able to go to the store, to go to work without having to fear being pulled over by a police officer.
The center will also hold workshops next week for those eligible to renew their DACA status.
A new lawsuit claims federal searches of laptops and cell phones at airports and border crossings is unconstitutional. Warrantless searches at the border are permitted to help the government enforce immigration and customs laws. But in a lawsuit filed today, the Electronic Frontier Foundation and the ACLU argue that because modern electronic devices carry so much private information, those searches should require a warrant. 2 Arizona representatives got an invitation from the Trump administration to talk tax reform today. Martha McSally and Kirsten Sinema were part of a bipartisan group of 13 representatives who met with the president. After the meeting, President Trump said a new tax reform bill will aim to cut taxes for the middle class, but that taxes on the wealthy may increase. Trump also said he'd like to see the corporate tax rate reduced to 15%. Tomorrow, Hopis are voting to narrow the list of candidates for the tribe's top 2 elected offices. The top 2 in the chairman and vice chairman races move on to the November 9th general election. Whoever is chosen will lead the small northern Arizona tribe at a time when it's expected to face a significant loss in coal royalties with the closure of a power plant in 2019. Tribal Registrar Karen Shupla says turnout is generally low. Just more than 1,400 Hopis cast a ballot in the 2013 primary election.
A hunter's rights bill that's advancing in Congress would ease some regulations on hunting on federal lands. But the firearms language in the bill is drawing fire from gun control groups. Washington Bureau reporter Trevor Fay was there for the congressional hearing before the bill heads to the House floor.
It's supposed to be about hunters' rights. But critics of the SHARE Act say it's little more than a cover to deregulate sales of armor-piercing bullets and silencers, and they refuse to remain silent at a House hearing today.
Should silencers be removed from the NFA, individuals unable to pass a background check would be able to obtain these dangerous weapons through unregulated private sales on the internet and at gun shows.
Chipman, a former agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, was supported by Arizona Congressman Raul Grijalva, who said Chipman was being disregarded due to the influence of gun manufacturers.
You know, I find it curious that we all love cops, Mr. Shipman, And then the minute a career law enforcement officer comes to this committee and tells us what we are doing in this legislation is dangerous for public safety, suddenly that credibility is lost.
But supporters of the SHARE Act say it will let law-abiding hunters protect their hearing with silencers and preserve the culture of American hunters. Representative Ruben Gallego was dubious about that claim.
How is this actually going to help hunters in terms of being able to be going through the woods if you have people having suppressors essentially on their rifles? And I just don't understand what is the logic. Somehow this is going to bring safety to hunters.
Attorney Stephen Hallbrook says that it is easy to make silencers and that criminals will not be dissuaded from using them simply because of federal regulation. In Washington, Trevor Fay, Cronkite News.
Congress is moving ahead with a plan tonight to manage the bison population up at the Grand Canyon. A House committee approved the Grand Canyon Bison Management Act this morning. The bill was introduced in June by Arizona Representative Paul Gosar. It would allow licensed hunters to help cull the bison population at Grand Canyon National Park. Bison were introduced north of the canyon in the 1920s, but they have started moving into the northern rim, where they can't be hunted. There are currently about 600 bison. The goal is to reduce that number to about 200.
Arizona's bald eagle population continues to soar. During the breeding season this year, 82 baby eagles hatched. That's a record number. Last year, only 79 birds were born. In Arizona, there are 85 breeding sites, which include 2 new ones this year. The Arizona Game and Fish Department estimates there are 67 bald eagle breeding pairs in the state. That's up from 11 in 1978 when the bird was listed as endangered. Tiny homes are growing in popularity.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how these small living spaces are changing the market in a major way.
Plus, the next 2 Summer Olympic locations were announced today. Find out which city in the U.S. will be hosting the Games in 2028.
When a story comes in the morning, we're out the door as fast as we can go.
But it's also great to spend more time in communities and produce projects.
From the borderlands to the cities, the reservations, and even the state capitol, we want to get to the heart of the matter.
When the lights come on in the studio, we know our hard work is about to pay off.
We love what we do here at Cronkite News.
We're proud to tell the stories of our state.
Now more than ever, it's important to have a trusted news source, and that's Cronkite News.
This fall.
I'm so excited!
What?
From the inspiring to the amazing.
You're in the presence of history.
The compelling.
He said, "Welcome home." It was just a powerful moment.
To the astounding.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
And from the breathtaking.
This is real.
A journey to Mars.
To the electrifying.
We're going to change the world.
All this and more. All this fall.
Oh my God!
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in! Arizona State wins! Keeping one deep, and it is caught! Jalen Strong! Do you believe it?
Paris 24, Los Angeles 28.
That's the announcement Los Angeles has been waiting to hear. It's official. LA will be hosting its 3rd Olympic Games in 2028. It's been years in the making. The International Olympic Committee voted this morning in Lima, Peru. That means in just about a decade, Los Angeles will welcome the world for the Summer Olympic Games in 2028. Paris will host in 2024. This will be the first time the United States will host the Summer Olympics since Atlanta in 1996.
The light rail extension heading towards South Phoenix is well into the initial design phase. Those behind the project held an open house, giving residents a closer look into how the project is coming along. Cronkite News reporter Alex Valdez was there and also shares why some business owners are both welcoming and nervous about this expansion. Alex?
I'm standing
I'm standing right outside one of the many light rail stations around the valley. Starting in the year 2023, residents and visitors will be able to ride the light rail down to Central and Baseline and enjoy what many locals around the area call the hidden wonders of South Phoenix. But some say it won't come without its challenges. Norberto and Sandra Flores, both of them South Phoenix natives, say they wanted to open Azucar's coffee shop, 1, to show their Latino roots, and 2, in a part of Phoenix they say is often forgotten.
We were wanting to show an identity of not only a Hispanic identity, but also a South Phoenix identity, a Chicano identity.
That identity can be clearly seen in and outside their family-owned cafe. The vision to bring a very needed coffee shop and meeting place to the area started 2 years ago. Owners Norberto and Sandra say they have mixed feelings about the light rail that's coming. Many businesses along Central Avenue are hopeful for the economic growth that the light rail expansion could potentially bring to South Phoenix. But many share fears in terms of the construction phase and how that could impact their business. The expansion will run through District 8 Councilwoman Kate Gallegos' territory. She says she wanted to address some of the concerns expressed by residents.
We have to work hard on construction to make sure that we minimize the impacts. We're starting earlier to assist our businesses than ever before so that we can make sure we have good communication and good plans set up to have as little disruption as possible.
The Florists are now preparing a plan to keep their business on track during the construction phase of the light rail.
In particular, just with our customers and really just trying to build customer relationships, because I think that's really where it's going to be for us. You know, if we build our customer relation, then they're going to want to come.
The start of construction on the light rail expansion to South Phoenix is expected to break ground in the year 2019. For a look at where exactly the light rail is headed, visit our website, cronkitenews.azpbs.org. Live in downtown, I'm Alex Valdez, Cronkite News.
Could you imagine taking all of your belongings and moving into a space with less than 350 square feet? Microhousing is an emerging trend that began in dense places like New York and San Francisco. But as reporter Tim Johns recently discovered, it's starting to make its way here to the Valley.
James Smith may be taller than most people at 6'6", but there's nothing particularly big about his apartment. Smith lives in a micro apartment complex called Whitestone Studios in downtown Phoenix, and for him, it's the perfect size.
It can be quite limiting in what you fill your space with, but I think that's a wonderful challenge that people need to be faced with.
And Smith is not alone. Microhousing is becoming a bigger trend for house hunters nationwide for a variety of reasons.
Residents cite things such as lower rent and utility bills, less maintenance, and simpler living as some of the perks of living in a micro unit.
Christoph Kaiser is an architect and developer who has been following the trend of microhomes for several years. Kaiser believes that the trend is starting to make its way into the Valley too, with a handful of projects being built or proposed in recent years. He says it's being driven by a resurgence of people looking to live in an increasingly vibrant downtown Phoenix.
Similar to what's happening globally in other international cities is happening in Phoenix, where people want to be downtown to be downtown.
And for Smith, he welcomes this trend to his native city and hopes it's something that continues to grow.
I think it will, definitely, as more and more people sort of introduce themselves to the idea and become more familiar with it and comfortable with it. I think it's something that could be quite successful.
In Phoenix, Tim Johns, Cronkite News.
The apartments at Whitestone Studios comes fully furnished and rent starts at about $1,300 per month. Right now, the death toll has risen in a Hollywood, Florida nursing home.
Coming up on Cronkite News, are there still others suffering indoors from Hurricane Irma's massive power outage?
And stay tuned, your full 7-day forecast coming up next on Cronkite News.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Exploring, it's the lifeblood of the mission.
Human beings are a curious bunch.
What are we going to see when we get really close?
Wow.
Just because an idea is crazy, it's not necessarily wrong.
We were on our way.
We
don't get anywhere until you've tested the limits.
That carries an intensity you can't imagine.
You could hear people just, whoa.
Oh my God, absolutely spectacular.
It's a rush. We ask a lot of our heroes.
We are at a remarkable moment.
We're going farther than any exploration ever has.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19 at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Tragedy continues to strike after Hurricane Irma's passing, with now 8 confirmed deaths at a nursing home in Hollywood, Florida. Police are continuing their search throughout assisted living and retirement communities for anyone still in need of a rescue. Hollywood, Florida Mayor Josh Levy condemned how patients at the rehabilitation center at Hollywood Hills were completely overlooked.
Very disappointed that something like this could have taken place. I think there were certainly many ways emergency services could have been alerted to this circumstance, and unfortunately, emergency services were called, obviously, too late.
Firefighters have since evacuated 115 people from the Hollywood nursing home. Police Chief Tom Sanchez expected officers to finish checking the city's other 42 assisted living and other similar facilities by the end of today.
Hurricane Irma's impact on Florida has taken many forms, as we've seen. Destruction, power outages, and loss of property are widespread across the Keys. Today, the damage also manifested itself in the form of a sinkhole caused by storm water flooding. This land caved near a middle school in Apoca, obliterating a chunk of the West Orange Trail.
Hundreds of firefighters are still battling wildfires in the Pacific Northwest. Crews are struggling to contain the 52,000-acre North Peak fire in central Washington. And the National Guard released video of its C-130 helping with California's Pier Fire. It's burned more than 30,000 acres there in the Sequoia National Forest.
Meanwhile, here in the valley, we can expect some lower temperatures.
Chelsea Ray Ibanez has our forecast.
Now, we did reach a high of 105 today with a low at 82. Not quite the record we had back in 2000. Now, taking a look at temperatures across the state, up in Grand Canyon, we have a 69 degrees, Flagstaff 62. Lake Havasu 104, but as we get into the valley, we do get to those warmer temperatures. Just a few degrees below 110, Glendale at 108, Goodyear 108, Chandler 106, and Florence 101. Later tonight, we can look forward to having a little bit lower temperatures starting around 7 o'clock. Phoenix will be at 97, Mesa 93, and Coolidge at 92. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. We do have some good news. On Thursday, we're going to be below that 100-degree mark at 99, Friday 95, Saturday 97. We're going to see a little bit of a spike going into next week. Sunday at 98, Monday 99, Tuesday 98, but on Wednesday, we're going to be in those low 90s at 92. I'm Chelsea Ray Ibanez, Cronkite Weather.
The Arizona Humane Society is in a cat crisis. This means their facilities are at full capacity and can no longer take cats under their care. And they need your help to save these kittens. During the spring and summer months, there is an increase of cat breeding, resulting in an increase of cats entering the shelters. The Humane Society has about 150 cats that are up for adoption, 500 waiting in foster care, and 60 in the baby ICU, which is 10 over capacity. The Humane Society needs volunteers, adopters, and people to participate in their foster care program. The Care in Place program is designed to house newborn kittens until they are ready for adoption.
You can take in 1, 2, a litter of them. We'll provide you with all the supplies that you need, the medical treatment they might need. We spay and neuter them, and then once they're 8 weeks old and ready to go up for adoption, you can bring them back and we'll find them their forever homes.
If you find a stray litter of kittens, you should wait an hour or 2 for the mom to come back. If the kittens do need a little human help, you can get a free kitten care kit at the Humane Society. To some, going to school means sitting behind a desk and listening to the teacher.
But one school district has a new idea to escape the old way of thinking. Coming up on Cronkite News, we'll see how grade schoolers will escape the room and learn some valuable lessons, too.
Fridays, it's at Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Then join us for At Cronkite News, our weekly refresh, each Friday at 5 on Arizona PBS.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Human beings are a curious bunch.
What are we going to see when we get really close?
Oh my God, absolutely spectacular.
We are at a remarkable moment.
We're going farther than any exploration ever has.
Third Rail with Ozzy, the new weekly show where we tackle the taboo and debate the tough questions with the most interesting minds in the game. I'm Carlos Watson, only on PBS.
Classrooms are always looking for innovative ways to teach teamwork and problem solving. For one school, that meant leaving one classroom to escape another. Opening locks is opening minds in the Avondale School District.
In Avondale, our mission is to grow thinkers, problem solvers, and communicators to pursue a future without limits. And we do an amazing job of that in the classrooms. And we thought, could we just take this a little bit further and provide a different set of experience for our kids to be able to explore those?
And so the doors opened on the escape room. Students have to work together to solve puzzles and clues that lead them to keys and eventually escape, all in under an hour. Teamwork is not only used to get out of the room, it was also necessary to build the room.
Because it was such an effort. It was not just the three of us. It was the maintenance team. It was technology. It was parents. It was volunteers coming and spending time, spending their own energy.
The entire room was created by using styrofoam for the walls, refurbished furniture, as well as donations. But the school district also used a 3D printer to create artifacts like this one. And the students seem to be getting the most out of the opportunity.
I learned more about teamwork and cooperation. That was a really important part, how we all had to be together. Some kids I didn't even know, we were just all working together to solve that one puzzle.
After the success of their first escape room, the school district plans on building another room with the help of the students.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
We'll learn more about the Equifax breach, which impacts 143 million Americans. And it's time again for our favorite physicist, Lawrence Krauss.
For Cronkite News tonight, thanks for joining us.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Ironwood Cancer and Research Centers, personalized cancer care through medical oncology, radiation oncology, and radiology services, focusing on emotional, physical, and social support, outsmarting cancer one patient at a time.
We are bound together in the most extraordinary ways.
In the 90 minutes it takes for us to orbit the Earth, we can see that humanity has spread all over the globe.
This is our world.
The way we do it now cannot last forever.
Tonight at 7 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19 at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
Your favorite PBS shows, ready to watch when you are. Anytime, any place. Find more ways to explore than ever before.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Hi, I'm Alberto Rios. This week on Books & Company, best-selling author Lisa C. talking about her latest book, The Tea Girl of Hummingbird Lane.
Well, I think actually identity is very much at the heart of this novel.
Don't miss Books & Company, Friday night at 11:30 on Arizona PBS.
I thought I knew most of what was worth knowing about the war, and suddenly I didn't.
Something was happening that was profound, that was irreversible.
What was it all about?
We just tried to believe that this was the right thing to do.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hospice of the Valley, medical, social, and spiritual care for patients nearing end of life, and support for their families. A not-for-profit community hospice, HOV.org.
Whitfill Nursery, proud to support Arizona PBS, a Valley tradition since 1946. Over 200 acres of Arizona-grown trees, citrus, and palms. Complete custom design and installation. And Whitfill Nursery still does the digging. WhitfillNursery.com.
Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, what you need to know regarding the massive Equifax cyber breach. And our favorite physicist Lawrence Krauss talks about the end of one space mission and a milestone for another. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Corporation Commissioner Doug Little is resigning. Little announced today that he's taken a position with the Trump administration at the U.S. Department of Energy. Little's last day at the Corporation Commission will be September 29th. Little tells the Arizona Capital Times that the opportunity is a, quote, once-in-a-lifetime deal, and says he's not leaving because of persistent controversy involving the commission. Little will serve as the Energy Department's Deputy Assistant Secretary for Intergovernmental and External Affairs. Governor Doug Ducey will appoint Little's successor on the Corporation Commission. A massive cyber breach exposed the Social Security numbers, birth dates, and other information of over 143 million Americans. Joining us now to update this story and talk about what it means for consumers is Jamie Winterton, Director of Strategy for ASU's Global Security Initiative. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
What is Equifax?
Equifax is a credit monitoring company.
And what is that?
They take data on how good your credit is, basically. So if you go to apply for a loan, Equifax will report back and say, yes, you've paid these bills on time, or no, you haven't. They have a lot of very personal information about you.
Okay, so how was Equifax breached?
That is a great question. The only thing we really know is that it was through a web portal. So somehow somebody got in through Equifax's external-facing web and got into a lot of data that should have been encrypted.
Now, do we know when this happened?
It happened sometime in May and went through June. It wasn't announced until a couple weeks ago. So there was a 6-week delay in between when Equifax knew about the breach and when they told people about it.
So what's that all about? Why did that happen?
There's a lot of speculation. Some of it involves some stock trades that went on at the time. A couple of executives sold some stock in between the time that we knew that they found out about the breach, and that breach was made public. So that's really concerning, because that was 6 weeks where people could have been doing something about their credit and they weren't able to do so because they didn't know.
How did the breach, how was the breach discovered? How did this happen? How did they find this out?
I'm not sure. They've been pretty tight-lipped about a lot of these things. I think maybe because they have a lot of problems that they need to fix, and there are some security standards that they just haven't been up to. One thing I think I mentioned before was encryption. So had these data stores been encrypted, had they had math applied to them so that they wouldn't be just readable by anybody, then the damages would have been a lot less than they are.
But as far as Equifax, did they wake up one day and say, hey, look at that, there's a portal open, or there's some information flying around that should... How did they know they were breached?
They may have had a tip-off from a government agency. We don't know for sure. Agencies will do things like monitor the dark web and see what's for sale on there.
Oh,
there are a lot of people on the dark web that will sell information that could be used to duplicate your identity and take out loans, credit cards, etc.
So let's talk about what kind of personal data was exposed.
Sure. So the data that was exposed in the Equifax breach are social security numbers, dates of birth, addresses, driver's license numbers, and your credit history. Your credit history goes back a long way. It's every bill you've ever paid, whether it was on time or not. It's the loans you've taken out and paid back, and that's that credit number score that tells you what kind of a risk you are for a loan.
So when we say that this information is exposed, what does that mean? Does that mean some guy in a hoodie somewhere has the information, or it's all, everyone's got it and it's all over the place?
It isn't out there all over the place. I have not seen it dumped on any of the sites yet. Sometimes hackers will steal information and they'll dump it publicly. We haven't seen that information out there yet. So this leads me to two potential conclusions. One is that somebody found all of this data, siphoned it off, and is selling it to duplicate identities. Another is a little bit more sinister, and that's the potential of a foreign adversary. 143 million credit records is an awful lot.
Sure is.
143 million is almost half of the people in the United States. With that kind of information, you can start to understand more of the demographics, and then if you match this information up with other high-profile data breaches. For example, Office of Personnel Management several years ago had a large data breach for people that had applied for and received security clearances through the US government over decades. If you're able to match these things up and say these people have security clearances and these people are in trouble credit-wise, they owe a lot of money, then those people are vulnerable to blackmail.
Oh my goodness. All right, those are those people.
Yes.
What about us people? What should we be concerned about, and what should we do?
That's a great question, because it's not entirely clear whether or not you've been affected by this breach.
How do you, stop right there. How do you know if you were affected by this breach?
Well, in a perfect world, you'd be able to go to the website that Equifax set up and put in some information and have them come back and tell you, yes, you were affected, or no, you weren't. Equifax has set up this capability. The problem is it gives you different responses. Sometimes it will tell you you're affected, and sometimes it will tell you that you're not. So something is not working quite right in whatever database they're using. So I wouldn't necessarily trust that. You know, if you've gone to that site and they say you're not affected, I would still pull a copy of your credit report, take a look for anything suspicious. And I do think that signing up for some sort of credit monitoring capability is a really good idea.
A different one than Equifax.
I would recommend a different one from
Equifax.
They do have one that they're giving you for free. I would have some trust issues with that, given that Equifax has not been on top of their security.
But again, a credit freeze. Is a credit freeze a good idea? What is a credit freeze, and is it a good idea?
A credit freeze is a great idea. So a credit freeze takes any potential loan or way that you could use your credit to acquire money and just puts a hold on that, says we're not going to do anything with this right now. So no car loans, no credit cards, no mortgages, and then you would have a PIN that you could use to unfreeze your credit when you decided you wanted to use something again.
Now, were any PINs exposed in this cyber breach?
Well, the PINs are generated at the time the freeze is invoked, but there's another problem with that too. So when Equifax gives you the PIN for your credit freeze, it's based on the date and time that you asked for that credit freeze, which is not a particularly secure way of doing that.
Oh my goodness gracious. There's going to be a lot of 17s and 16s and 15s, I would imagine.
Right.
Okay, but if you had a credit freeze before this exposure, good?
It's good that you had that credit freeze, but some of your information is still out there. So your social security number, for example, there are things beyond credit that those numbers can be used for. It might be time to start thinking about how we need social security numbers and if there's another way that we can identify ourselves with the government.
Interesting. Is that being discussed right now?
I could see it coming up on the table. I mean, Equifax is in a lot of trouble and Congress is very on top of this right now. So there is a high likelihood that Equifax executives will be summoned to testify before Congress. And I know that Senator Mark Warner from Virginia has asked the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, to start looking into this in the specifics.
Well, you know, this isn't the first breach for Equifax. They had a couple of these in previous years.
Yes.
What are they doing to shore things up?
It's not apparent to me that they're doing a lot. Yes, they are under current what they call consent decree with the FTC. So they got in trouble in 2013 for selling the names of people who were behind on their mortgages. And when you settle with the FTC, you're generally under observation for decades. So the FTC already knows about Equifax, and it'll be interesting to see what they come back and do.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Equifax stays in business. I would imagine lawsuits are going to come flying right and left out of this.
I would assume so as well. Equifax makes a lot of money, but you bring up an interesting point. This isn't like a Target or a Home Depot where a consumer can say, I don't want to work with that business, they're not treating my data correctly. Equifax has access to everyone's information, and maybe it's time we reconsider that model.
Yes, indeed. All right, last question here. What is next in this particular story?
I think what's next is to watch what the FTC does. I think they're going to take this very seriously. What's next for the consumer is to keep an eye out on your credit. Pull the report. Get some kind of a monitoring system. If you have any passwords that were based on the information there, some people use parts of their birthdays and their driver's license numbers, change those passwords.
And if you get your credit report real quickly and you see some funny business going on, what do you do?
Well, you should call maybe one of the other credit reporting agencies because Equifax is pretty busy right now, and start the process of making that better.
Of saying that this is not me, so.
It's a long process, and that's another reason I recommend monitoring is they can help you through some of that process.
It sounds like a humongous headache. Good information. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Up next on Arizona Horizon, physicist Lawrence Krauss with the latest science news, including updates on 2 well-known space missions.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
Time again for one of our most popular segments. It's Science Matters with Lawrence Krauss, and tonight we have an update of 2 of the more successful space missions ever to hit the heavens. Here he is, right over there, Lawrence Krauss. That's you.
That's me.
That's
still.
you all over the place.
All over the place.
Let's get going here.
Yeah, it's
because in researching this stuff, I got to look at pictures and video and things like, and it was just fantastic. Let's start with Cassini. It's crashing into Saturn after 20 years. What is the Cassini mission, the Cassini spacecraft?
So what we're going to talk about today, by the way, is 2 milestones. In these 2 weeks, 2 epic events are happening for spacecraft that have been in space, in one case for 40 years, in another case 20 years. Cassini was sent to investigate Saturn and its moons 20 years ago. Took 7 years to get there. And then 2004, it started to orbit Saturn and begin to look at it changed completely in many ways our picture of Saturn, and equally important, its moons. It's a large spacecraft. It's very, very large. It was actually powered. One of the big issues about it when it first launched, it had nuclear. It was powered by, it had a nuclear reactor in it basically to power it, which is one of the reasons it's still going. It's running out of fuel, but it has looked not just at Saturn and learned a lot about its moons. We now know there's 62 moons. We didn't know there were anywhere near that.
62?
62 moons of Saturn. We didn't know anything about probably half of them before that point. And one of the first things it did was come by one of Saturn's moons, Titan, which is a well-known moon, and it had a little hitchhiker on it called the Huygens probe, named after Christian Huygens. And I remember this vividly. That probe went down and landed on Titan, and Titan is amazing because if you look at it, it looks like it has oceans and rivers on it. The rivers of liquid methane. That wouldn't be it being launched, is it?
No. This is Cassini. This is
Cassini. That's Saturn in the background.
Yes.
Attached to it was Huygens, but it was just. So then Cassini, of course, it visited Titan over 100 times in its period of I guess about 14 years of being around Saturn. It also visited a lot of the other moons and explored the rings of Saturn as well. You can see, by the way, in the upper, just in the upper part of Saturn in that last picture, a hexagon, which is a storm, a cyclonic storm, hurricane, speaking of hurricanes here on Earth, that's 4 times the size of the Earth.
Is that the Huygens right there?
That's the Huygens probe landing on Titan. And it looked like it had rivers, but they're liquid methane. And the sky was orange like a science fiction magazine. Then there was, it looked at not only some of the interesting moons that actually shape the rings of Saturn, like Prometheus, which causes a little ripple, one Pan that actually produces a little hole in the rings. But here it looked at Enceladus, which looked like just a snowball from Earth, and we figured it was just a snowball, but it turned out, and we've talked about this before, it actually has liquid salty oceans underneath that ice, and there are geysers, and the probe flew through the geysers and saw they were salty, saw there were organic materials. It didn't have the tools necessary to look for life, but it suggests to us that Enceladus is probably one of the prime places to go to, dig down underneath that ice and look for life.
And those plumes, now does the detritus of the plumes, are they one of the many rings?
Well, they contribute a little bit. I mean, the rings are dust and rocks for the most part. And there's certainly some of that stuff might end up in the rings as well. But the rings are largely dust and rocks. And what Cassini did in April, it went by Titan for the last time.
Yeah.
And it uses each time it goes by Titan, it uses the gravitational pull of Titan to change its orbit a little bit. And this time it changed its orbit and it went inside the rings for the first time.
Ooh.
And that's what it's been doing for the last, I think, 100 orbits. And now it will, on September 15th, on Friday, it will end its life.
Why?
Well, the point is it's running out of fuel. It's running out of the ability to send information to Earth. And people have decided that, well, maybe there's life in Enceladus. Maybe there's life on some of the other moons of Saturn. You don't want this to pollute them.
Yes.
So rather than just end up orbiting and potentially crashing into one of those moons, this is a planned crash, and it's kind of bittersweet. It will enter into the clouds of Saturn on September 15th, on Friday, and be traveling at 70,000 miles per hour, and that atmosphere will cause it to burn up. If you lived on Saturn, you'd see like a falling star. It'll just be a brief moment of light before it ends its life.
It is kind of sad.
It is kind of sad because it's been so amazingly functional, but the missions have their end lives, and this is safer because we may send in our lifetime a probe to Enceladus, and we don't want to pollute it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right. So the Cassini mission is adios.
Adios on Friday.
Fare thee well.
Yeah.
Via con Dios,
Good.
the whole 9 yards, yes.
Well, everything.
But Voyager 1, 40th anniversary, Voyager, there were two Voyagers.
There are two Voyager, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. Now, which launched first?
I don't know.
Voyager
I'm guessing
2.
it was of course it was 2.
I was going to ask you because I wanted you to get the wrong
Of course it was
answer,
2.
of course. It turned out Voyager 2 launched 2 weeks before Voyager 1 for obscure reasons. But Voyager 1, and in fact I wrote a piece for the New York Times that on September 5th was the 40th anniversary of the launch of Voyager 1. And Voyager 2 launched 2 weeks earlier, and both of them, Voyager 1 is already outside of the protective cocoon of the sun, the heliosphere of the solar system, where the sun kind of dominates. The solar wind and its magnetic field sort of have this more or less protective bubble that pushes against the pressure of the outside interstellar medium. And Voyager 1 has already exited. It exited 2 years ago, basically, or 3 years ago. And Voyager 2 hasn't done it yet, because Voyager 2 took a slightly different orbit. And so Voyager 1 is ahead of Voyager 2, but Voyager 2 will head outside the solar system. And they're still operating. And what's really neat is, I don't have my car fob here, maybe you do, but as I said in the article, it's amazing to think this thing has operated for 40 years. It's been sending back data. It did some of the first passes of the outer planets before any of the other probes, so it gave us the first picture of many of the outer planets. And it used their gravity to assist them, because we didn't send either of them with the speed necessary to escape the solar system, but it used this gravity assist by
Like the
zipping around the
slingshot kind
planets.
of thing.
But all during that time, the computers on Voyager have less power than my car fob that opens my car. It's amazing to think about that change and the change that has taken place in the Earth in the interim.
We have some video here of the Voyager mission, and I know they're out there. You know, they're doing look at this stuff. I mean,
that was one of the first views of Jupiter and indeed of Saturn. It gave and then it went beyond Saturn, of course, to Neptune, and looked at some of the moons of Saturn, to Neptune and Uranus, and then even past Pluto. So
just amazing stuff.
And the fact that they're still operating, and of course, what's really interesting is that they're not going to end their mission that way. They're not going to end their mission by crashing into a planet. What makes, to me, so beautiful to think about is that this 40th anniversary is just the beginning. That Voyager 1 is now left the solar system. It's the first man-made object to leave the solar system, and it's not going to stop. It's going out in the galaxy. No matter what happens here to life on Earth, whether we survive or not as a species, we will have these objects going out into the galaxy, maybe one day to be discovered by aliens, which is why you may remember there was a beautiful golden record.
The time capsule thing.
It was a golden record. Carl Sagan and his collaborators produced this record, which had embedded in it music from the Earth and images of the Earth. So if you could figure out how to play a record and you're an alien, then you could detect. But they're out there, and they will be there for millions, if not billions of years.
Where will they be in the million? Will they be buffeted around? Do they have a path? Are they going anywhere?
Well, one of them is heading towards. I mean, they're heading two opposite directions in the galaxy, and of course they'll be affected by the gravity of stars. They're not likely to hit any. They'll just be moving out into the galaxy, and in a million years or a billion years, they could be on the opposite side of the galaxy from where we are. They'll be mementos of our existence, and it's quite likely to me that it seems to me the way we're going, they could be the only mementos. Actually, not quite. They're the first objects to leave the solar system. There are 3 other objects that we've launched that will eventually leave the solar system: the Pioneer spacecraft, Pioneer 1 and 2, and New Horizon, which we talked about, which recently explored Pluto. It actually was launched with enough velocity to one day leave, but Voyager 1 is leading the pack, and of course, as we know, if we watch Star Trek, one day it'll turn into an intelligent being and come back.
Sure, yeah. But again, we will not be able to keep in contact with it. It'll be out there on its own.
On its own, and we will have lost it. But I find the fact that there is something, because when the sun, as I said in the article, and we've talked about, in 5 billion years, when the sun becomes a red giant, it's going to encompass the orbit of the Earth. The Earth is going to be toast. Our atmosphere will be blown off into the cosmos. Any potential record of any of our conversations, which have been so important, and human civilization will be gone. But we won't be lost forever, because out there in the cosmos will be those records of our existence.
Boy,
and I think that's so poetic.
Who knew Carl Sagan was the future of mankind?
Well, Carl Sagan and the Voyager spacecraft. There's a wonderful documentary called The Farthest, which you should watch, and I happen to be in it. But besides that, it's very good.
Well, you had me for a while there. All right, before you go, second largest black hole in the Milky Way has been discovered?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
I can give you a story if you want.
No, the interesting thing is, in the center almost all galaxies, we discovered large black holes. And our center of our galaxy is not a very large solar mass or large black hole. It's the one in the center of our galaxy. This is not it, but the one in the center of our galaxy is 4.5 million solar masses, which may sound big.
Yes.
But in fact, in other galaxies, there are billion solar masses. We see in nearby galaxies and other galaxies, we see evidence of billion solar mass black holes. The question is, how did they get to be so big? Ours only has a 4.3 million solar mass black hole, Sagittarius A, in the center of our galaxy. So people wonder, well, do these billion solar mass black holes occur by building up? And what's been discovered is by looking at a gas cloud about 27,000 light years away from the Earth. It's a gas cloud about 16 light years across. So much bigger than our solar system and much bigger than the distance to our nearest star, which is 4 light years. This gas cloud is moving. And you can measure the motion of the gas by doing the spectrometry, measuring the light emitted by the gas. And astronomers have now said they found evidence the gas is moving so fast that the only thing that could account for that is if there's a 100,000 solar mass black hole in the center of that system. And that would be interesting because that might mean it's quite close to the center of the galaxy. It's going to head on a collision course with that big black hole. And it could be evidence that over time, our million solar mass black hole may be a billion solar mass black hole. And maybe the big black holes that are in the center of every galaxy don't form before the galaxy is formed, but rather build up. That's the big chicken egg question, which we're building, among other things, the James Webb Space Telescope to find out which came first, black holes or galaxies.
Interesting. So when we saw that picture there, that was the smaller.
Well, that's a smaller, but it wasn't a picture. It's an artist rendering. Okay.
All right. Well, it's an artist rendering.
Yeah, it's rendering, but it would be the smaller one. It would be a gas cloud orbiting this black hole.
So that's the black hole. The black hole has rings like Saturn.
Well, in this artist rendering, it would.
Was the artist boozing it up when he did the
all
artist
things that
rendering?
collapse have what are called accretion disks. So our solar system, when the sun was collapsing, was an accretion disk of rock, and if you wish, our sun had a ring around it. And eventually that ring fragmented to form planets.
Really?
Yeah.
Our sun had a ring around it?
Yeah, that's what the Earth and all the other rocky planets were part of basically a ring, and all those rocks collided to form bigger rocks and bigger rocks and bigger rocks until they formed planets.
See, I never knew that.
Yeah, whenever you see all the things you learn a lot when I come in.
No kidding. Wow.
But all stars that collapse tend to have accretion disks around them, which is one of the reasons we thought in advance that most stars have solar systems, have planets. And what we've discovered when we looked out in the last 10 years is most stars have planets around them.
So this big one will likely swallow up the little one, you think?
Inevitably. If it's close to the center of the galaxy, the big one will swallow it up. If this is true, it does indicate that these big black holes build up hierarchically. It also means that it gives astronomers reasons to look in that region for other medium-sized black holes. We've discovered solar mass black holes, or 30 solar mass black holes with the gravitational waves we've discovered that you and I talked about, the collision of.
Yes, yes.
So we know there are sort of solar mass black holes. We know there are million and billion solar mass black holes, but we've never discovered anything in between. And this is the first evidence that maybe they build up.
And think about it. 40 years ago, when the Voyagers were 2 ahead of 1, did you know that? 2 ahead of 1.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying that.
Think of what we knew and thought then compared to what we knew and
Exactly.
thought.
That's what's amazing. And in fact, that's what motivated me to write that piece in the New York Times. 40 years ago, we didn't know about dark matter, about dark energy. We hadn't discovered black holes, gravitational waves. Everything we didn't even know about planets around other stars. In 40 years, we've learned a lot. Let's hope in another 40 years, we'll learn a lot more.
And you and I will be here discussing it.
Let's hope we are. I'll be, you'll be old then.
Thursday on Arizona Horizon, how neuroimaging helps figure out the way the brain impacts self-control. And attention foodies, Arizona Restaurant Week is coming up. Those and stories and more on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Albertsons and Safeway are proud to support our Arizona veterans and Arizona PBS. Learn more at azpbs.org/veterans.
Cassini reveals amazing new worlds
but a fiery end approaches.
It's a path towards death.
Follow along with up-to-the-minute coverage.
Revealing Saturn from the inside out.
Death Dive to Saturn on Nova.
Tonight at 9 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19 at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Eiffel. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
I'm Scott Pelley, anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News. In our changing media landscape, it is crucial for journalism education to ensure a commitment to the truth, unbiased reporting, strong ethics, unwavering fairness, and above all else, accuracy. These are the hallmarks of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. It's a place where students can innovate and transform the news industry while always upholding the values of the school's namesake. The Cronkite School at ASU, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
I thought I knew most of what was worth knowing about the war, and suddenly I didn't.
Something was happening that was profound, that was irreversible.
What was it all about? Was it worth it?
Smart people in pinstripes couldn't make their minds up about the war.
It was extremely traumatic, like the ground was suddenly cut from under you.
We just tried to believe that this was the right thing to do.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
The Persian Room. Travel to another world, to a land of exotic aromas and period decor for a fine dining experience. The Persian Room in North Scottsdale on Scottsdale Road, one light north of Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. Gourmet exotic cuisine at its best.
Support comes from Copenhagen, celebrating 45 years of innovative design. From the iconic to the up-and-coming, design is the heart of our business. Copenhagen, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe.
Good evening, I'm Judy Woodruff on the NewsHour tonight. Irma's tragic wrath. 8 die in a Florida nursing home amid power outages across the southeastern U.S. And a string of Caribbean islands are ravaged to the point of ruin. Then shifting political winds, what the push for universal health care on the left and tax reform on the right reveal about new dividing lines in Washington. Plus, Cassini's final mission. After 20 years of exploring Saturn, the NASA spacecraft will crash into the planet in a death dive for data.
The mysteries we want to solve with the grand finale mostly have to do with revealing Saturn from the inside out.
All that and more on tonight's PBS NewsHour.
Major funding for the PBS NewsHour has been provided by
economy for 160 years. BNSF, the engine that connects us.
Supporting social entrepreneurs and their solutions to the world's most pressing problems. SkollFoundation.org.
The Lemelson Foundation, committed to improving lives through invention in the U.S. and developing countries. On the web at lemelson.org. Supported by the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation. Committed to building a more just, verdant, and peaceful world. More information at macfound.org. And with the ongoing support of these institutions. This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
All across Florida tonight, they are working to turn the lights back on and repair hurricane damage, and now there's a new fear. 8 people died today at a nursing home, spotlighting the plight of the elderly, caught up in Irma's aftermath in a state with 4 million senior citizens. Our John Yang begins our coverage.
The tragedy struck at this nursing home in Hollywood, Florida. Officials said it had electricity, but the air conditioning was not working.
Our investigation has revealed that it's extremely hot on the second floor of the facility.
Police Chief Thomas Sanchez gave few details.
We're conducting a criminal investigation inside. We believe at this time they may be related to the loss of power and the storm, but we're conducting a criminal investigation, not ruling anything out.
Authorities evacuated more than 100 patients to nearby hospitals, many on stretchers and in wheelchairs. Robert Gould, with the state's largest power utility, suggested it all could have been prevented.
It points to the need for having plans in advance when it comes to emergency preparation. This facility was not listed as a top tier critical infrastructure facility, and that's what we work with the counties for them to help identify those facilities.
Across Florida, utility crews have been working around the clock to restore power, and there have been other reports of elderly tenants trapped in their homes. The situation is especially dire in the Keys, home to some 70,000 people. Some areas remain unreachable to all except search and rescue teams. The aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln is off Key West, a floating base for helicopters delivering aid. Urgent repairs are underway on US 1, the lone highway connecting the islands, and water service is slowly being restored to those like Sean Street, who rode out the storm on Cudjoe Key.
When Katrina hit Louisiana and stuff like that, and you feel sorry for people and you think, oh, what are they going through? But when it hits home, it's totally different, you know? And it's not just us, it's everybody.
Evacuees are slowly trickling back, returning to survey what's left.
I expected some debris because we knew the direction that with the winds were blowing, they were going to carry debris onto our property. It's happened before. We